Hey everyone, it's Marianne Pizzatola from the New York City Organization of Public Service Retirees. Well, you can see this is Richie Davis, and as Richie calls me Marianne Pizza Face, or Pizza Lady, I think is Donald Yates calls me. I want to also share with you a video that they exposed that was filmed and shared with me just tonight. So I want to be able to go through this with you and fact check Mr. Davis in real time. So let's watch this together.
He's talking about is me. I'm William Ortiz. I'm a car inspector out of Livonia Barn. I'm on the opposing slate.
Don't lobby it. Don't talk about politics. Ask me the question.
I'm gonna ask you the question.
I'm gonna come back to you and lobby.
Yeah. I got you.
Okay.
All right. So you said that there's no diminishment in the medical benefits, right? And you stated that all of your family members.
Oh, and that's my first question for you, Richie. Why would you ask retiree or active? If there's no diminishment in benefit, there's no diminishment in benefit. He shouldn't have to quantify if it's retiree or active. A statement is a statement. There's no diminishment of benefit, is what you've been saying since this whole mess started. So if you have to ask retiree or active, Richie, what's that about?
Right? All of your family members, your father, your mother, whoever that may be that work. You want me to ask the question? Or you want me to ask the question? Do you want me to ask the question? Or you don't want me to ask the question? All right. All right. So you guys stated that, you had your family members that worked here, they retired, right? And you wouldn't diminish the benefits. It would be crazy because they worked here, right? So you're only mentioning your family members. You're not talking about the members that are outside of your family that also retired from here, right? Why is there a lawsuit against the MTA and TW Local 100 right now from the retirees? Is this a question? Go ahead.
Marianne Pizza Face or Pizza Tola, whatever the hell you want to call her.
Whatever the hell you want to call her, sweetheart. Richard Davis. My name is Marianne Pizzatola. That is my name. I really could care less what you call me, but it shows a sign of disrespect that you, as a leader of a union of tens of thousands of members, do not respect someone who clearly is very knowledgeable in healthcare and you don't like that calls you out on spreading misinformation. But I digress.
A NYSERS member.
Is a NYSERS member, and you are a NYSERS member either. That has nothing to do with it. NYSERS has to do with pension. New York City health benefits are very similar to MTA benefits. Your people get their pensions through New York City Employees Retirement System. That is another system in which I am also familiar, as I not only do pensions and consulting and have done it for almost 30 years. So let's get into the health benefit question, Richie.
Right? She works in a union, and I had a meeting with her for you. And I was in Puerto Rico when I had to meet with her.
You actually didn't have to meet with me. You confronted me. I waved to you in the lobby of the Caribe Hilton in Puerto Rico, San Juan, a year ago. I waved to you and you said, "Why are you messing with me on YouTube?" And I said, "Well, I called you 3 times. You didn't answer the first call. You didn't answer the second call. You didn't answer the third call." And I went ahead with my video and called you out. So if you're not going to communicate back with me, my job is to fact check and protect retirees, something that you're not doing. You invited me to lunch the next day with Tony Utano. And then you took me to a restaurant called Mojito, which was right down the hall from the Caribe Hilton. And we had lunch. Yes, you bought me lunch. We sat and we spoke for several hours. You did not want to look at my folder. You had Tony look through the folder. Tony sat next to me. You sat next to Tony. And we went over all of the documents in the folder that I gave you both to look at that explained why there is a diminishment of healthcare benefit, how traditional Medicare, your traditional Medicare with your CPPO, differs from the Medicare Advantage plan that you forced your people in, and how it is a diminished benefit, and how the plan behaves differently, and how people, no matter where they are, whether it's in New York State or around the United States of America, will have problems seeing doctors and getting care. Now, even if you didn't believe me then, I've been doing interviews even as recently as last Friday while I was in Puerto Rico again with one of your members, Uribe, in Arizona, where we did an interview for a half an hour, which is on my radio show from last week on WBAI. You can go and listen. It was recorded on the 8th at 7 a.m., where he explains how he cannot get care for his prostate cancer or for his joint disease at Mayo Clinic in Arizona. But again, I digress.
And she made me do something, doubt myself. You know what? People can make you doubt yourself.
No, sweetheart, I didn't make you doubt yourself. I educated you. You chose not to believe it and still spew misinformation.
No, we didn't have coverage, and you guys don't have coverage every place. You don't have it in Minnesota. I had to get out and go call Aetna and understand what you're talking about. We have coverage throughout the.
No, sweetheart, you don't have coverage in 50 states, but as soon as this video is over, I'm actually going to pull up your contract and I'm going to prove you're lying to your people again.
Of Puerto Rico, right? We are not the city MLC. The people, we didn't join the city MLC.
You actually did join the Municipal Labor Committee, but again, this is another topic because I clearly see you cannot stay focused. You joined the Municipal Labor Committee. You've been in the Municipal Labor Committee for quite a while, I believe, going back to maybe the 80s or the 90s. You pay a dues to the Municipal Labor Committee, a couple bucks a person and a year. Your I can actually prove that your organization, TWU Local 100, has been roll called by the attorney calling the votes in the Municipal Labor Committee for the past 3 years. And I can show you the recordings right online where they call out TWU Local 100. So you are a member. Your members are paying dues to the Municipal Labor Committee. And if by the time I finish processing this video, I can go up online, I will show you your dues going to the MLC.
The little group is collecting money for the retirees, the 100, whatever you want to call them. They're taking money for a lawsuit. We have nothing to do with that.
Well, you're right. The TWU 100 was incorporated to protect the rights and benefits of retired workers, which unions under the Taylor Law do not represent. So this organization founded and incorporated to protect their own benefits because that should have been something you, as the union leader, should have done out of, I don't know, loyalty, morality, past practice, because you knew or should have known, if you were a good union leader, that unions under the law cannot represent those not in their unit. While you do have a retiree chapter and they do pay dues to the chapter, they are technically not members, and under the law, you, as the union, TW Local 100, can only negotiate for those with wages, hours, and work conditions. Retirees don't have wages, hours, and work conditions. So even if you do have a retiree member that's a quote-unquote member of your union, you cannot collectively bargain for them. Basically, what you did was you sold off their health benefits. We have further proof of that because the year before, I was asked to do an interview with Arthur Schwartz, which was also on WBAI on his radio show. This was before I had a radio show there, in which he said to me that the TWU was approached by MTA and told if you gave them back their plan that they would give you a raise and that the value was about $72 million. So when we started to do the math about what the CPPO was worth, there we came up with the $72 million. So I can track where your raises came from directly from you selling off the retiree CPPO and forcing all your retirees into managed health care with a network and prior authorization that they didn't have in traditional Medicare. That is a
They
diminishment
don't
of
agree
benefit.
with the change I made. That's on them. The city LLC, let me give you one difference. When they retire on their prescription plan, go read this, pull your document, I'm school you today, I was prepared for you. The prescription plan of theirs, right, says if you're a Memorial Sloan Kettering, you know what happens when you're a Memorial Sloan Kettering? What's going on with you in there? You got cancer. What's the prescription cost a month for the prescription? Between $10,000 and $25,000. On their plan, it says that they have to pick up a supplemental insurance to cover the 25% of it. Because if they don't, then they're responsible for it. What?
Okay, Richie, I honestly think that you should resign from TWU and apply for sanitation because you don't belong discussing or negotiating health benefits. What you just said is a total lie. So if you go to Memorial Sloan Kettering, you or any doctor, any hospital, and you need treatment, you have obviously medications that you're going to need. The city of New York has over 100 unions. Every union, well, most unions, have a welfare fund that has a prescription drug plan. Some unions, like OSA or UFT, do not have a union drug plan. Those retirees have to purchase a drug plan from the city of New York. That drug plan they offer this year is about $130 a month. Now, many of the unions, including mine, which is DC 37, offers me a free drug plan. I do not pay premium for my drugs. Most of the unions in the city of New York that offer a welfare fund drug plan don't charge a premium to their retirees either. So right there, you are spreading more misinformation because the drug plan is dependent upon the union that you're in or you're not in or the city drug plan. Every plan has a formulary. Now, it doesn't matter. There is no 25% plan, supplemental plan. What you're thinking about, and I think you're conflating the two issues, is the supplement to Medicare. Medicare pays your first 80% of your medical bill. A supplement pays the last 20. That is what your Aetna CPPO was. Medicare pays the first 80. Your Aetna CPPO paid your last 20% of a medical bill. There were no costs to a Medicare retiree in that plan. Similarly, a New York City retiree would be in traditional Medicare with a GHI Emblem Health Senior Care, which is to the equivalent of like your CPPO supplement. No, we didn't pay for that. Why? Because under the statute in the city of New York, the city must pay for the full cost of health coverage for every employee, retiree, and their dependent up to the HIP rate. The HIP rate is about $1,000 a month. That senior care plan, that supplement that pays the 20% that Medicare doesn't pay, the cost of that plan was $200. Thus, the city had to pay for it. New York City retirees' healthcare is premium free. And they have a drug plan typically at no cost if their union offers them one. So, no, there are no costs. There is no 25% cost. And then in the documents you were shilling out when you were forcing your retirees into Aetna and trying to say, look, our plan is better than the city plan, you were comparing it to the HIP VIP plan, which is a Emblem Health Medicare Advantage plan only available in 10 counties of New York. It wasn't the equivalent of what you were putting your retirees in. And then I'm also going to show you your own agreement, which shows that you're lying to your people again. So, no, Richie. Again, please apply to sanitation. Call Harry Nispoli because I think you should not be dealing with people and their healthcare benefits because you have no idea what the hell you're talking about.
Zero or a $50 cap?
And I have no idea what the hell you're talking about as a $50 cap. If your retirees cannot find a doctor that will accept the Aetna Medicare Advantage plan in network and the doctor won't accept the plan for payment, you have to pay for the doctor out of pocket. You then have to submit that bill to Aetna and hope that they reimburse you. If they don't reimburse you, that is not included in your cap. which means it is a pure out-of-pocket expense. Now, if Mr. Luis Uribe in Arizona had the money to pay Mayo Clinic for his prostate cancer treatment because his doctor and his hospital won't accept plans, then he would be a very wealthy retiree, would have to submit those bills to Aetna, pray that they reimburse him, and if they don't, he's purely out of pocket. The other issue is traditional Medicare has rare prior authorization. When the doctor prescribes something, you get it. In the plan you put your people in, the Aetna Medicare Advantage plan becomes the gatekeeper. Now, you would be obligated, well, they say strongly recommend in the agreement, to contact Aetna and ask for a pre-visit confirmation approval to see a doctor out of network. And your contract, unlike mine, your contract says if you don't do that and Aetna later determines that that visit that you had or procedure that you had is not medically necessary, they will not reimburse you at all. So, Richie, again, you have no idea what you're talking about.
So why would we join with the city with her, who has nothing to do with Local 100? He read the whole language to you. We are not SSSA, we're not 106, we're not ATU. None of them have a contract. We're the only.
And they don't have a contract, sweetheart, because they're fighting to maintain what they have because you set a pattern to sell off retiree health benefits for raises. You did the same thing that the UFT DC 37 and the MLC did. We beat all that back, and I'm sure your retirees will end up beating this back. It is clear and apparent that you negotiated away something that you should never have had negotiated away for people not in your union.
I don't have a contract. I better, good Lord bless them with the new election because it's not going to be labor friendly. I want to see how they're going to settle a contract. I'm sitting on top of a gold mine right now.
But they don't have a contract because you gave up the medical. So now they're struggling with negotiating with the MTA
brother.
because of what you did.
President made changes.
Oh my
I
gosh.
made changes.
You're sitting on a gold mine, Richie Davis, because you sold off your retiree health benefits for cash. Michael Mulgrew literally has a video. We have a video of it that he says, the city said, if you give me back that 20% plan, we'll give you a raise. We'll put that money in your welfare fund. And that's when your attorney said, well, this MTA told us if you give it back, we'll give you a raise. The UFT, MLC, they wanted the money in their welfare funds. You wanted it in a raise. That's a little different. There's your pot of gold. Mulgrew didn't get his pot of gold. Our court happened to stop it. Hopefully, your court or the retirees court stops you too.
Yeah, don't accuse me because I want to defend myself. I said, ask your question.
Go ahead.
Don't accuse me. Don't lie. Don't be a liar. How many years you got?
Well, don't be a liar, Mr. Davis. I'm going to tell you to take your own advice. You just lie through your teeth and gaslit your members.
It don't matter. It don't matter. But I read all the fine print just like everybody else.
We provided it in writing. It's in writing.
It's in writing. It's so funny, huh?
Okay.
Well, hey, I could say I'm a French model and that would be in writing too. It doesn't make it true, Richie.
It's in writing. It's documented.
So-
You're supporting somebody who collects
If it's in writing, right?
$1,000
If it's in writing, why would you just put up the highlights on the website and not just the contract itself so we can read it for ourselves?
Everything is there.
You gotta read.
Everything is there.
You're putting up the highlights and the benefits.
Go on Aetna.
All right, you look on the evidence of coverage on Aetna, right? Does everybody know how to look for it? Does everybody know where to look for the evidence of coverage?
I got it in my car. I got it in my car. You want to follow me?
No. Just go get it.
Go outside.
No. I'm gonna stay here, but you can get it. Come, bring it.
Oh, don't be scared of me.
No. Just bring it.
Next question, go ahead.
Yeah.
Young laddie, come on, you got a lot.
All right. So you said 2005. All right. What was the 2005 strike for?
Recorded me so you put the right thing out.
I'm going to stop that video right there, man. That was so funny. Absolutely hysterical. Richie, you make me laugh all the time. Now, I want to share with you the actual contract. So let's go there. So this document we're going to look at is called the evidence of coverage. It's the agreement that is the governing document that if a retiree has to follow, and if there's an appeal process that they want, this lays all that information out. This is kind of like the contract between the retiree and Aetna. However, the real contract, the one that you allegedly negotiated, I can't even get that copy because MTA is refusing to hand that over, even through the Freedom of Information law procedures. They're saying that they're consistently negotiating it. So what you can do is you come to this page, you can clearly see at the top, it says Aetna and New York, MTA New York City Transit. And the website is www.aetnamedicare.com/MTA NYCT/en/index.html. And I actually walked through finding this website a couple days ago when I did the video with the two transit misfits with Pete and Eric. So I'm going to show you how to find the contract here. You're going to come to this page and you're going to say, see what's covered. And you're going to choose the 2025 year. And you're going to scroll down to where it says evidence of coverage. And click that. And a PDF will open up. And if I remember right, I think it was like on page. Well, the other thing I wanted to point out is many of the retirees don't recognize that they're in a Medicare Advantage plan and it is not Medicare. So this document says a member of Aetna Medicare PPO, and I think it was like several pages before it actually identified it was an Aetna Medicare Advantage plan. So this is your page 7, section 2.2, and I want you to look at this area right here. So this right here proves that Richie doesn't know what he's talking about. The Aetna Medicare Plan PPO is available only to individuals who live in our plan service area. To remain a member of our plan, you must continue to reside in the plan service area. What does that tell you, Richie? That tells you right there that not everywhere is covered by this damn plan. The service area is described in Addendum B. Oh, don't worry, honey. We'll get there. At the back of this document, your coverage is offered through an extended service area ESA feature, which allows you to be covered in the areas that are not listed in the Aetna network service area. If you plan to move out of the service area, you will have a special enrollment period that will allow you to switch to a different plan. Please contact your former employer, Union Trust Administrator, to see what other plan options are available in your new location. Richie, seriously, this is ridiculous that you would even not know that this is in your own contract. Now, let's go to Provider Directory. 3.2, this is on page 8. The provider directory lists current network providers and durable medical equipment suppliers. You are a member of our plan through our Extended Service Area ESA feature. Aetna Medicare may or may not have a provider where you live. Do you need me to read that again, Richie? Aetna Medicare may or may not have a provider network where you live. Network providers are the doctors and other healthcare professionals, medical groups, durable medical equipment suppliers, hospitals, and other healthcare facilities that have an agreement with us to accept our payment and any plan cost sharing as payment in full. Here's the clincher, Richard. You must use network providers to get your medical care and services. If you go elsewhere without proper authorization, you will have to pay in full. Bubala, would you like me to read that again? You must use network providers to get your medical care and services. If you go elsewhere without proper authorization, you will have to pay in full. The only exceptions are emergencies, urgently needed services, when the network is not available. That is, in situations when it is unreasonable or not possible to obtain services in network. Out-of-area dialysis services, and in cases in which the Aetna Medicare PPO authorizes use of out-of-network providers. Your plan basically, honey, acts like an HMO. This is insane that you would do this to your people. Now, I want to prove it to you once again. Let's go to the addendum that's referred to show you that your plan doesn't cover everywhere in the United States of America, even after what I just read to you. And see, this is the crazy thing, Richard. When I met you and Tony in Puerto Rico, I gave you a copy of the 2024 contract. I proved to you by highlighting it. I emailed it to you twice, and I even sent it to your secretary, showing you all the problems that your contract has and how horrible it is. Now, this is the Addendum B, page 102 of your agreement of the EOC. It says Aetna Medicare PPO ESA service area. Your Aetna Medicare plan, PPO ESA, is available in all counties within the 50 states, Washington, D.C., and territories of America Samoa, Northern Mariana Islands, Guam, Puerto Rico, and the U.S. Virgin Islands. Below is a list of network-based areas. Your plan sponsor may not offer coverage in each of these counties. If you are moving to a new service area, you should contact your former employer to ask what coverage options may be available to you. To ask what coverage options may be available to you. Now, sweetheart, do a very quick Google search on how many counties are in the state of California. I don't know, maybe we should ask. Hey Alexa, how many counties are in the state of California?
From Wikipedia.org, the U.S. state of California is divided into 58 counties.
Well, there you go, sweetheart. There's 58 counties in California. Now, right here, you see California. I see Fresno, LA, Orange, Riverside, San Bernardino, San Diego, San Francisco, and Ventura. Would you like me to count that? Because that doesn't sound like 58. So I'm really disgusted that you could sit in a room and lie to your own people. Richard, this has to end. Honestly, you do not know what you're talking about. And you want to tease me and call me the pizza face or pizza lady or whatever. I am the person that knows about your health benefits better than you do. And what's even more exciting is your own people know more than you do. That is amazing. And you know what that says, sweetheart? That means that me and the retirees from TWU 100R and the New York City Organization of Public Service Retirees is doing their job because we're teaching active workers that their union leaders, some of them, are misleading them and lying to them and not telling the truth. Like you. So, thank you to the Transit Workers 100. Good luck on your election. I hope you elect a better leader than what you have today, because clearly Mr. Davis isn't looking for your best interest. He's looking out for his own. And if he doesn't understand at this point that Medicare is not traditional Medicare is the best benefit that you could have, that there's rare prior authorizations. There are no networks. Any doctor you see in America that accepts this plan, and there's 99% of them in America that accept traditional Medicare, Aetna cannot say the same thing. So this is the time of your life when you're elderly and you're on Medicare. You should not have to worry about getting your benefits, fighting for your benefits, struggling to find a doctor, driving an extra hour to get to your doctor. Or Rosemary that had she needed a defibrillator, and Aetna told her she couldn't have a defibrillator. She's also in Arizona, by the way. Mayo was also her hospital, and they said to her that she had to wear a defibrillating vest for 90 days, have an echo, and if they determined that she was still needing a defibrillator, that they would then determine if she would qualify for one, if they would pay for it. Rather than if she was in traditional Medicare, she already would have had that. This poor lady ended up sustaining a hurricane. Hurricane Beryl came through her area, and she ended up losing her power for several days. Could not charge her defibrillating vest, putting her life at risk. Or Mr. Louis Uribe, who could get a doctor that would take the plan, but the doctor was another hour away. Why would you make senior citizens travel that far when, if they were on traditional Medicare, they could travel 5 or 10 minutes and be near their doctor? This, Mr. Davis, is a diminishment of benefit because you're making an insurance company be the gatekeeper between them and their care and their life. So, that's all I have for today. Pizza face out.